Your D&D bastion could be a dread fort echoing with the screams of your enemies. Or it could be a moving castle that is famous throughout the realm. The 5e Bastion system is a toolkit for players and DMs to create a shared playground in your D&D game, whether it's high fantasy, dark fantasy, or planar adventures. My name is Ben Byrne, and this is how to make bastions work in your D&D campaign. What's great about Bastions is that trademark 5e balancing act between rules crunch and complexity, yet being open and flexible enough for adapting and homebrewing. The rules are granular in a way that you're encouraged to map out every room of your Bastion, and there are limits on how many rooms and what size each one can be. Rooms are either basic facilities or special facilities. Basic facilities don't have a game benefit, but it's entirely up to you what that room looks like and what its purpose is. Does your bastion have a throne room? Does it have a mausoleum where your mentor is interred? Basic facilities are rich opportunities for player-led world building. Special facilities, on the other hand, are more specific, such as a library or a workshop. Special facilities might consume resources to generate in-game benefits. There's a nice touch of management simulator to bastions, like selling items crafted in your workshop to make gold that you then spend in your scriptorium to make spell scrolls. But the rules aren't so crunchy that you need to harvest grain to grind that into flour to feed all your hirelings. Many things are kind of hand-waved. Your bastion just kind of appears at level 5, and special facilities are spontaneously added as you level up rather than you needing to build them yourself. But you can still embed the construction of your bastion into the narrative of your campaign if you prefer. If you're adding a scriptorium to your bastion, maybe you need to visit a mage college to hire a scribe before the benefits of the scriptorium are unlocked. That's not required by the rules, but there's a choice there for you to handwave bastion construction or create encounters to make it part of your campaign's narrative. Just like how some groups enjoy scavenging and tracking rations, and other groups prefer to just ignore that whole part of the game. The resource management of bastions might feel a little video gamey, as it does boil down to simply putting gold in to take resources and more gold out. Bastions are also definitely primed for optimizers to take advantage of the system and just drown themselves in gold, as Teos did point out on the Alpha Stream channel.
Bastion's kind of hard code generating a lot of gold. Yeah, I've got 2 special facilities at 5th level. No big deal. That's per character. If I have 5 characters in my party, they're building 10 facilities. We can make 530.78 gold per turn.
But the rules are flexible enough to mitigate some of these concerns if you're worried about your players having too many facilities and producing too many resources. Firstly, not every player needs to have a bastion for the system to function. Bastions can be combined into a single location, such as a grand castle or a walled district inside a larger city. You only have to give your party of 6 players 3 bastions between them, which could be combined into a single village where the characters all grew up. Choosing special facilities and designing the bastion then becomes a collaborative experience, like a shared Minecraft server. Bastion flexibility makes them fantastic for player creativity. Your bastion is an extension of your character or your party, reflecting their goals, interests, and personality. The reason bastions belong in the DMG, I think, is because it gives your DM an opportunity to tinker with what's offered to your players to fit your D&D campaign, which means bastions are also an avenue for DM expression and world building by reflavoring and adding to the system. Bastion events are like random encounters that happen to your bastion, usually whilst you're away adventuring. On the surface, they're relatively low impact. Your bastion might be attacked, requiring you to roll 6d6. A bastion defender is slain for each 1 you roll. Or one of your hirelings might turn out to be a criminal. Bounty hunters arrive to arrest the hireling, temporarily shutting down their special facility unless you pay a bribe. Bastion events can also have positive effects. Refugees fleeing a nearby monster attack or political turmoil might offer you gold to seek shelter in your bastion. Or an ally might visit and offer you Gold. Bastion events are honestly a little underwhelming if played exactly as written and no further. But each one should be considered as a quest hook to build your campaign's narrative. What new quests and adventures arrive from your Bastion event? If your Bastion's attacked, why? Is it your campaign's villain reacting to their lieutenant being slain? Or is a rival thieves guild starting a turf war near your bastion? Will you seek revenge for this attack? Each event could open up an entirely new storyline in your campaign. If refugees do knock on your door, will they only offer you gold if you slay the monster that drove them from their homes? Is an ally visiting to bring you news from far off lands? Bastion events do occur on a random dice roll, but as the DM, you can obviously just choose to ignore an event if it would disrupt your game, or enact one if it adds to your story. And because Bastion events are simple, it means they're easy to reskin, adapt, or invent new Bastion events that are suitable to your campaign world. I invented a ton of these, such as Haunted. Your Bastion is haunted by an undead or fiendish spirit, perhaps from a cursed magic item you brought back to it. Your hirelings are terrified and no special facilities can give orders until you investigate and banish the spirit personally. Siege. Your Bastion is under siege by an enemy faction, such as the Arcanist Inquisition hunting mages in your party, or maybe a rival nation is invading your lands. Until the siege is broken by you, no other Bastion events can occur, and you cannot give the trade or recruit order to any of your facilities. Breaking the siege could be a whole story arc on its own. Blood tax. Your Bastion is built in Astoya, and the vampiric nobility comes seeking their blood tax. You must sacrifice a number of hirelings that they demand to appease them. You can of course refuse the blood tax, but this will make you enemies of the Crimson Court, the Great Beast. Your Bastion is built in the Burak Empire, and while you are away, it is visited by the Great Beast. Roll 6d6s as if your Bastion had just been attacked, except this time, every 6 you roll allows you to choose a hireling or defender to have survived, and everyone else is horribly aberrated or killed by the Beast's presence. The sorts of special facilities you want to offer your players as a DM also allows Bastions to be a space for collaborative world building between the DM and players. If you want your campaign to take on a grim hollow atmosphere, homebrew special facilities that might belong inside a dread fort or a Neolithic eldritch ziggurat. If your campaign takes place in Drakenheim or the Ethereal Expanse, homebrew special facilities that decontaminate delirium mutations or craft Magitech items. For example, you could offer your players to include a prison. This special facility allows you to keep up to 12 prisoners at a time, and at 9th level, your prison gains an interrogation chamber. You can ask 1d6 questions to a prisoner inside the interrogation chamber, having advantage on all intimidation and persuasion checks whilst doing so. After those questions are answered, the prisoner refuses, or maybe is incapable of answering any further questions, and automatically has the hostile attitude towards you and your party. Your Bastion could have a profane chamber, which becomes available at level 9. The hireling here can craft shadow steel trinkets and magic items, similarly to how a workshop crafts regular items. Those trinkets can be used to cast advanced curses, like what we described in this video. But the hireling could be corrupted and turn into a shadow steel ghoul at some point. Perhaps your character is turning into a vampire, and you could build a blood altar facility. Whilst inside your Bastion, you're not required to track the days between your feeding. Notice how offering new special facilities also creates new possible Bastion events. The profane chamber hireling turns into a shadow steel ghoul and must be slain before they start killing other hirelings. A prisoner escapes from your Bastion, and unless they're recaptured, they'll warn your enemies where your Bastion is located. Or maybe a prisoner defects to your side and you gain an extra Bastion defender. It's also very easy to reskin existing special facilities. Maybe your meditation chamber is instead a throne room where you hear petitions and receive worship. Instead of gaining inner peace from your meditation chamber, you're choosing between Bastion events because in your throne room, you're learning about the local political landscape. And the advantages that you gain to saving throws are because of your inflated ego at being worshipped. This is why I think bastions are such fertile ground for communal world building between players and GM, because everybody can contribute to what's inside the bastion and the GM can offer new possibilities of what can be built inside that bastion. I literally have a ton of bastion facility and bastion event ideas, so subscribe to the channel and maybe I'll do an entire video of them. As I was reading the bastion rules, I was immediately inspired by the idea of moving bastions. An airship, a moving castle, a traveling caravan, a fleet of sailing ships. And given the simplicity of the bastion rules, as we've touched upon, it's not hard to very quickly sketch out what these alternative rules might look like. If you want a moving bastion, make these changes. Firstly, the number of special facilities your bastion has is halved for your level, rounding up. So at level 5, you only gain 1 special facility. At level 9, you have 2, and at level 13, you gain 3. But your bastion can move. Choose your mode of travel, land, air, or aquatic. Land is pretty self-explanatory, your bastion travels over land. If your bastion is aquatic, it can only travel through water, but that could include oceans, rivers, or lakes. Your bastion cannot travel through the air until you at least reach level 9. Additionally, a flying bastion must choose one of their special facilities to be some kind of engine or arcane object that makes flight possible. In other words, at 9th level, you can choose the flying special facility. On a bastion turn, you can order your bastion to travel, which allows it to move to any location it can reach and has space for it. So for example, your DM might rule that your bastion cannot travel right up to the door of your villain's stronghold because it's in rugged mountains that your bastion can't reach. Your DM decides how long travel takes as well, and when your bastion reaches its destination, you can give it a new bastion order. But your bastion's facilities cannot be given or carrying out orders whilst traveling. Any orders still in effect when you give your bastion the travel order are cancelled. This is because the books of your library need to be packed into chests and stored in the hold of your ship while traveling. The library hireling cannot access them. Or your smithy needs to get packed into its wagon, which is part of your traveling caravan. Wherever the bastion stops, your hireling sets up his smithy beside the caravan. In a party, you might choose to have a single moving bastion. One of your characters has a ship which ferries you to and from the secret bay where the rest of your bastions are built. Or a few of you could have moving bastions, constituting a fleet of sailing ships. Or your moving bastion could be a combined bastion such as a caravan of multiple carriages or a castle that walks on mechanical legs. Having such a unique bastion might make you famous throughout the many towns and cities your bastion visits, such as the cities that we made in this video here. If you want more urban adventures in your D&D games, these cities are fully fleshed out and ready to play with quest hooks. Or you can check out this video if you want more adventure ideas inspired by twisted fairy tales and folklore. You can always subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss any future videos.